Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another wonderful round here at Slipstream Racing. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for sticking around. We are just getting qualifying underway for the Grand Valley Speedway for Season 10, Round 2. We've got an exciting championship ahead of us, and it's only just begun. We're going to take a look at the calendar very quickly before we get too far into the qualifying session. Round 1 was at Hockenheimring. Round 2 is at the Grand Valley Speedway, brought to you by Gran Turismo. And then we're headed to Istanbul Park for Round 3, Saudi Arabia for Round 4, Hungaroring for Round 5, Autodromo de Palmadera for Round 6, Road America for Round 7, Belle Isle, Magnet Coors, Indonesia, Watkins Glen, and then Autopolis for Round 12, which will be running 100% of race distance when we close out the championship on June 30th. This is a single make event. Of course, we are running the VRC cars, the Formula 2024 cars, and if you need to get a hold of them, go ahead and find them at the local shop available nearest you. It is an exciting championship. Like I said, things have gotten hotted up, but we'll talk about that once we get into the qualifying session. And let's take a look at the live action. Right now in P1, it's Cody Lawrence topping the charts with a big fat win at Hockenheimring, and then Matt Chavry in P2 with 21 points. Trent H with third place in that first opening round. Then we have Colin Edwards in fourth, Cameron Ketchen in fifth, John Hokie in sixth place. Then we have Elegance in seventh, Pete Rader in eighth, Froley in ninth, Twisted Jack in 10th, Alex Friedland in 11th, Jake DeShong in 12th, Athena Manisil in 13th, and then Steve Rogers in 14th. And that'll round out the 14 participants, but it seems like we've got quite a few more champions to contend with here tonight, and it's looking pretty close at the top of the timing tower. Jaden Neal leading with P1 with a 117.819. 72 thousandths back is going to be Pete Rader. Yakin is going to be 3/10 away. Then AA is going to be in fourth. Matt Chavry in fifth. Colin Edwards in sixth. Jake DeShong in seventh. Okey Pokey in eighth. Manisil in ninth. Froley in 10th. Twisted Jack. Steve Rogers, Friedland, Shorter, Cody Lawrence not setting a lap yet, and he should be getting to the line and maybe will be setting one. Cody Lawrence driving for Cadillac Racing now, it looks like. Let's see what this lap time is going to be. When he gets to the line, it'll be provisional pole. The 117.671. Best Jaden Neal by a tenth and a half. Best lap set by Alex Friedland at the top of your screen. That'll be 2.4 off the good. Elegance, Ketchen, Trent H not setting their individual laps just yet. Handful of drivers still in pit lane. 119.6 by Athena Manisil. Good enough for the top 10 for now. Ahmed A is in fifth place, half a second off the pace, driving for Team Oracle Red Bull, it looks like. And we're gonna have to do some research about Grand Valley Speedway, because this isn't a track that I'm too familiar with, although if you are a Gran Turismo fan, I'm sure that you are more familiar than I am with the racing circuit. On board with Ahmed A. Getting to the line, 5th place is where he sits for now, and he goes up into provisional 2nd place, best Jaden Neal's time by a few tenths. Matt Chevry with pole position now, and 5 thousandths faster than Mr. Cody Lawrence on that C4 compound. Cody Lawrence sitting in pit lane with 12 to go. Crowley coming around the final couple of corners, and then through the snake is what I'm going to call it. Into the final corner, Frawley with a 119.9 being his best lap time. Can he do any better? He does with a 119.492, and it looks like the track evolution has taken place, or the driver is getting a bit more accustomed to the racing circuit. This circuit looks very tight and technical. Doesn't look like we'll be seeing too many passing opportunities here. I am curious where the DRS detection zones are for this racing circuit. How will the drivers be able to apply it? Will it just primarily be coming down the front straightaway here that we're looking at with Colin Edwards? Colin getting to the line. Anything in tow for him? Just a little bit of an improvement. 118.1 best Yankin by a little bit of time. 444 off the good of Matt Chevry holding on to that pole position. Chevry into pit lane. Cody Lawrence heading out on the C4 compound right now. Jake Deschamps in 9th place, 1.8 off the good. You can see the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen for those of you keeping track at home. Trent H says, my VR headset froze for a second at high speed, buried me in the wall, had to reset the pit so I didn't kill someone else. A lot of work from the back, and he's got decent pace around here. Glad to hear it, Trent. Unfortunate technical issue has taken out Trent H. My own personal pit and paddock reporter. We'll call him Shea Adams for the rest of the qualifying session, as Trent can give me details on what the drivers are going through. But unfortunate for Trent H. And of course we all know the rules here at Slipstream Racing, that if you warp to the pit lane, you're basically out of contention. You could not come back and try again. Steve Rogers, 119.1. This is as realistic of a simulation as we could possibly make it until you get punted in the rumpus there and get spun around like that driver did. An unfortunate pileup coming out of the tunnel, it looks like. And a little bit of kerfuffle for the 2nd place car. That'll be Cody Lawrence, who actually got touched in the derriere. He is trying to get that car spun around the right way, as we just noted for Trent H. That once you warp to pit lane, your qualifying session is actually concluded. I do want to point out Trent H. did make a great point to me in a private message. Although he was in 4th place when he crossed the line, he did get 3rd place overall because of a penalty that Colin Edwards ended up having. So although, and there's Yankin disqualified from the qualifying because he teleported away as well, but he's up in the 7th place. Trent H. was able to get that 3rd place finish that we talked about at the top of the stream. Even though he did run out of fuel when he got to the line at the Hockenheim ring. Just crazy turn of events, crazy last lap battle. It was amazing to watch these guys go after it. And now we have even more drivers participating in this event than I think we had last week. This is a 32 grid slot track. We could have accepted quite a few more, but I don't think all the tracks on the calendar have 32 grid slots. Most of them only are limited to 24. We've capped the championship off at those 24 slot arenas. Jaden Neal trying to find that pole position that he's so desperately needs to get back into this championship. Jaden Neal just had an unfortunate run of events, and there it is, provisional pole snatched away from Matt Chevry by 48 thousandths of a second. The top 3 separated by 1/10 right now. Hey, let's just throw Ahmad in there as well. Top 4 separated by 1/10 right now. It's looking pretty nippy there. Jaden Neal battling out with Cody Lawrence again. couldn't ask for a better duo or rivalry in this series so far. Cody Lawrence, who obviously won Season 9 coming into this one, did a great job of showing his dominance, finished nothing but podiums for most of the season, if not every single race of the season was a dominant performance, even going for the extra bonus point in the fastest lap on a lot of occasions. He's doing amazing things right now. And here's Athena Manisil and John Hokie. And I believe we pronounce that Hokie, just like Pokey with an H. But Mr. Hokey Pokey, he's going to turn this lap around. He's going to do the hokey pokey, turn himself around. And I don't think he's actually improving on this lap, the Haas driver. 5:55 remaining in this session. See what he does have when he gets to the line. I'm not seeing any major gains right now for John. Let's see when he gets to the line. It's good enough for 8th position. What the heck do I know? 1:18.555, 9/10 off the pace. He was sitting in 11th, now moves up into 8th. He's doing pretty well for himself, and I'm pleased to say John Hokie has found the pace that he needs. But Jaden Neal, Matt Chevry, Cody Lawrence, the 3 front runners right now for your first 2 rows. Ahmad A in pit lane, 1/10 off the good from Jaden Neal. Pete Rader in 5th place now. Colin Edwards, Yakin, Hokie, DeShong, Rogers, Froley, Manisil, Jack, Friedland, Fowers, Shorter, Elegance, and then Cameron Ketchum. And where did Trent H go? Hopefully he's able to rejoin the session. Hopefully he's just not on my timing tower for now. Fortunate enough to see Mr. Trent H come back for another podium spot, because man has got some serious pace this season. Not only this season, but last season he was contending for a top spot on the podium, or I should say best of the rest, because we all know that Cody Lawrence really walked away with it, but he could have had 2nd place had he just, I don't really know what Trent H needed desperately, but he definitely needed a couple more podiums. The consistency is there, and I think that's what shines the most for a lot of these drivers, is their consistency when it comes down to race victories or podium finishing positions, is that their consistency is what gets them to that checkered flag. It's one thing to be fast over a qualifying lap. That's all cute, done, and dandy. But really, the consistency and being able to apply that pressure over and over and over again, because these VRC cars are so finicky on the brakes, on the throttle application. It's just so easy to get spun around. Here's Twisted Jack getting to the line, 13th place right now, good enough for 12th position, and 1:19.264 out of Twisted Jack on lap 14 out of 19 for him. And there he is. Trent H is back in the cockpit. Glad to see the 20th driver return to the grid. Like I said, I was worried about him for a little bit of time. Jaden Neal still top of the timing tower over Matt Chevry, Cody Lawrence, and then Ahmad A. In fourth place, Pete Rader, Colin Edwards, Bacon, Pokey, Froley, Deschamps, Rogers, Jack, Manisil, Friedland, Fowers, Shorter, Elegance, Cameron Ketchen, and then Trent H. And Trent himself said that he's got pace around this racetrack, so hopefully he can make up positions over the first couple of laps, or maybe he has a nice strategy in place. Matt Chevry goes provisional pole with a 1:17.474, opens the door from Jaden Neal behind. It was 1/10 separating the top four drivers. Now it's a 10 separating P1 from P2. Cody Lawrence now 0.197 back, and then Ahmad A 2/10 away from that pole position. Driver is now teleporting to pit and finishing out the qualifying session. Those that have decided to not go out any further have come in. I do suggest that they practice their pit stop entry. There's Cody Lawrence back to provisional pole, snatching it away with a final lap and opportunity, a 17.431 over Matt Chevry's 1:17.43 thousandths separates P1 from P2. And it's unlike Colin Edwards to end his qualifying session outside the top five. But he is sitting in sixth place, 6/10 off the good, and driving that number 2 Marlboro McLaren, if I remember correctly. No, not Marlboro. It was the Shell McLaren. Let's take a look real quick. Take a look at this car. The Honda powered. It is the Marble Shell livery. And that will conclude the qualifying session. Let's see if we can get over to the 12th place car that is Twisted Jack right now. Cody Lawrence will be practicing that pit stop entry, crucial for the entire race that we have tonight. And hopefully the rest of the drivers will be following suit, either concluding their lap or bringing it home in the pit lane. Jaden Neal getting to the line, second place for him. 43 thousandths separates himself from Matt Chevry. Oh my goodness, no, 3 thousandths separating himself from Matt Chevry. Now, I thought that was going to be a lot further away, but it's almost identical times out of Jaden Neal and Matt Chevry. Second and third place, nip and tuck right now. Let's take a look at the liveries, shall we? Mr. Cody Lawrence in P1, driving for the Cadillac Racing Team and Andretti number 11 car. Jaden Neal driving for the Red Bull Cash App car. Matt Chevry driving for Ferrari, the number 16. Ahmed A driving the Red Bull Oracle. Pete Rader with a interesting and unique livery. We're going to take a quick spin of this one. The Air Jordan vehicle for Pete Rader, the number 23. Once we get behind this pit wall, get a better look at the vehicle. Imagine those are custom liveries all over. I like the plate, the plaid, the Argyle. Argyle is the word on the nose there. Got too excited about that. It's Argyle. And it's on the intercooler duct on the top. Colin Edwards, as we saw earlier, driving the number 2 Marble Honda shell-powered McLaren. You can. I think he's trolling with that name. Driving the number 44 Ferrari. Hokey, my main man, driving the MoneyGram Haas vehicle, number 31. Crowley driving the 55 all-black Ferrari livery. Jake DeShong for Cadillac Racing, driving the number 77. And we have Steve Rogers driving the number 12 Petronas Mercedes. Twisted Jack in the Bowes car. Adina Manisil driving the number 13. Friedland driving the Corvette Racing F1 car. Cody Fowers driving the 44 Slipstream Racing car with Ohio State on the back and the MoMA sponsor. James Shorter for Octane Esports. Cameron Ketchen driving the McLaren number 4. Trent H driving the number 84 Corvette Racing F1 car. And then we're going to have Elegance, who is in the blacked out Ferrari, but starting from pit lane, it looks like. Maybe didn't hit drive in time. And we're just waiting for the Christmas tree to become illuminated, and then the lights will go out, and away we shall go. This is going to be round 2 of season 10 at the Grand Valley Speedway. Optimum track temperatures ranging from around 20 degrees ambient to the track temperature of 29 degrees Celsius, with a 5-mile-an-hour tailwind coming down the straightaway here. Waiting for the 5-6 lights to become illuminated. When they go out, it'll be time to go green, green, green. Cody Lawrence gets the jump on Jaden Neal, or does he? He does have the jump on Jaden Neal, getting towards turn 1. Jaden trying to go the long way around the outside. That's not going to work out well for him, but Cody Lawrence, whoa, there is a big tumble, slip, and fall in the background, and a whole lot of cars got collected in that. It'll be Matt Shabri and a couple others. Alex Friedland disqualified for teleporting to pit. Jake DeShong DNFing there. And wow, I can't even describe the carnage that happened going in towards turn 1 and turn 2. That was just a whole lot of unfortunate issues to happen. The big gainer right now is going to be Colin Edwards, who started around 6th place, now up into 3rd right off the bat. We have Ahmad A up into 5th place, Froley into 5th, Cameron Ketchen into 6th. Cody Fowers disqualified for teleporting down pit lane as well. And that'll leave us with 17 drivers remaining in this session right now. We started off with 20, and by the time we got to turn 3, seemingly looking like more and more drivers are dropping out. Matt Shavri tumbling down the order into 15th place. Twisted Jack disqualified for teleporting to pit lane as well. This is not looking good, but it is looking good for Mr. Trent H., who has gained a whole heaping handful of positions all the way up into 7th from back of the pack for the Corvette Racing F1 team. Trent H., who said he had a whole lot of pace, is working his way up the rungs of the ladder right now. Here's Pete Rader for the Air Jordan team coming in through turn 1 and on our way through turn 2. No more kerfunkles to be had. It looks like P. Raider got the jump, and he is through. Colin Edwards hot on the heels of Jaden Neal right now. Around half a second is the gap separating to them. Raider through on Shorter tumbling down the order. Manisil tumbling down the order as well. Here is Manisil, who got involved in the incident with Shorter, it looks like. And they're both in 12th and 13th now. And there's the 44 of Yakan in 11th position. To me, looking like a little bit of a guilt trip there as he waited up for Manisil to possibly having something to do with that incident. Trent H moving his way up the ladder, as I said earlier, up into 7th place, and he's got 2 more contenders right in front of him. Cameron Ketchen and Froley right in front of him. James Shorter disqualified for teleporting down pit lane as well. Javri's running at the back of the pack. 16 is the number, but he's running in 15th place. Can't go any lower than that due to the number of drops that we've already had. So unfortunate that he won't be able to be the number 16 and hold on to the place 16. It looks like that's a benefit for him. There goes Raider through on, oh, there goes Hokie spinning it around, coming out of the tunnel section. It looks like he's coming through the backside of the snake right now. A lot of drivers coming down pit lane. Manisil, Yakan, Hokie, Shorter, all into the pits. Manisil, Yakan, Hokie, all in the pits. Yakan coming out of pit lane onto the C3 compound. Javri already served his first pit stop of the race onto the C2 compound. Right now, we're looking at Cameron Ketchen chase down Froley. This is the battle for 6th and 7th as we get through the straightaway and in towards turn 1. Cameron Ketchen just walked right on by with the slipstream there. And towards turn 2, it's looking pretty nip and tuck. Cameron Ketchen may have that one in the back. It looks like Trent was able to get by this battle duo not too long ago because the gap has opened up for 1.2 seconds now between himself and Ketchen. Still looking pretty close here between Froley and Ketchen. Is slipping away from Froley, 7/8 now. Move just got done, a handful of corners to go, and already the gap has opened up to almost 1 second. Jaden Neal almost within 1 second of Cody Lawrence, keeping an eye on that battle. As this one's opened up to around 2 seconds. What about Elegance, though? 7/10 away from Froley and Ketchen. Froley gets past Ketchen with a little bit of a slip-up going into the snake section, and it looks like Cameron Ketchen is just stranded here right now. There's Manisil getting it spun back the right way. The number 14 doing rolling yet again, and front of James Shorter, who's 2 laps down, but Manisil, who's lit up the rear end of that car. And those tires are definitely overheated, now struggling to get through any one of those corners. And now Trent H disqualified for a teleport to pit lane. No, Trent, who was having such a good recovery drive from last place of the race. Now, where is he going to fall? All the way down to P15. Absolutely treacherous run for Trent. We were hoping to see him finish in the top 5 after all things said and done. But hopefully just another technical issue is what happened, and hopefully not any major issue is what he is facing. I know he said his VR headset disconnected earlier during the qualifying session, so maybe just another red flag for Trent H on this occasion. We'll keep an eye on the YouTube chat to see what happened to Trent H, to see if any of the drivers have some more comments or concerns about what happened on that lap 1, turn 1 incident that we saw, or anybody can comment on what happened to Trent H on this lap 6 of 42 that we're running right now. You can get a 5-second penalty for DRS application use. And it does look like there is a DRS zone coming down the front straightaway. And you saw that open up for Jaden Neal with a Visa Cash app Raging Bulls, or Racing Bulls. This is as close as he's been in a long time. Link to the live timing right now. Get a better idea of who's doing what lap times. Here we go. Last lap around, Cody Lawrence 21.5. Last lap around 21.3 for Jaden Neal. And it looks like, although Cody Lawrence has the best lap overall, Jaden Neal is running just that slightly bit quicker behind, using that DRS to drag him through. Maybe the slipstream also giving him some benefit there, coming down that long straightaway and through some of these twisty bits. Maybe the dirty air is actually hurting Jaden Neal right now. It'll be hard to tell what his car is doing. Let's see if we can ride on board and see exactly what that car is doing. On board with Jaden Neal. And now in through the tunnel section. Seemingly looking like the gap is slipping away from him right now. You can see the delta on the top right hand side of that steering wheel. He's up around 0.3 of a second on his personal best, but that's kind of to be expected on lap 8. The tire fade would start to fade away from him just that little bit more and more. Regeneration coming through for Cody Lawrence's car out in front. Jaden Neal probably doing the same after deploying as much as he could to try to catch up to Cody Lawrence out in front. DRS wing fully open there. You can see the green light on his steering wheel showing you that. If that's not the green light, I apologize. Completely flat out through those twisty sections of Sector 1. And once you get to the hairpin, all the way up into 4th and 5th gear, coming around through the other snake section. This is a Maggots and Beckett's-esque section. Oh, big tank slapper for Neal. On his way into the hairpin corner, he's losing heaps of time to the car in front. That'll be Mr. Lawrence's vehicle. And then under the bridge we go, and then through the big bad tunnel. Be a full onboard lap with Jaden Neal as he chases down Cody Lawrence out in front now. Separating these two drivers. We see Pete Rader getting close to Elegance within that DRS range, 9/10 separating P6 from P7. I want to stay on board with this battle here, the battle for P1 for a little bit longer. See if Neal can catch back up to Cody Lawrence, or at least pressure him into a mistake. We haven't seen Lawrence make too many mistakes throughout Season 9 and into Season 10. The man has got to be human and will make a mistake somehow, some way. Eventually, it's only an inevitability that he does make a mistake. Unless the man is actually just a machine. In which case, he needs more ballast anyways. Elegance tumbling down the order. Looks like he got slipped up, tripped, and fell coming out of the hairpin section. He is back up and running into 7th place. So the gap that I was just talking about, don't worry about that. We're back on board to look at Jaden Neal and Cody Lawrence. Steve Rogers now behind Matt Chevry. Chevry, who was in last place, basically, at the end of lap 1. Now he is into the top 10, 8th place for Chevry. Good finish for him during the opening round at Hockenheim. He placed 2nd. That'll be a surefire way to feed his way to the top spot of this championship standings. But finish like today outside of the top 10 would really hurt his cause. He is on the C2 compound, trying to go a little bit longer than the drivers on the same strategy as him now. And we'll see how that affects him once we get into the later stages of the race. 32 seconds is the gap from himself to Elegance. So barring any mistakes, Elegance should have P7 under wraps here. You can, coming down pit lane, on board with the front wing of Colin Edwards, running in 3rd place. And whom is that behind him? That looks like a MoneyGram Haas. Ketchum's rear wing is open from the McLaren, and he's trying to get past Steve Rogers, the number 12 car, and he does get past him, going in towards 2. Ketchum also on a bit of recovery drive, and I imagine most drivers not too familiar with the Grand Valley Speedway. This might be the very first time that they're driving this track under these conditions. Not quite expecting where they should fall. Now things have started to become a little bit quieter here in the broadcast booth. Driver is starting to become separated by around 1 second or more. Driver is squirming to get out of the way. That'll be the 10th place car of Steve Rogers, it looks like. Got out of the way there. Jack, Bowers, and DeShong, all taking DNFs. Here comes Manisil, lighting up the rear end, trying to get through the bridge, or excuse me, the tunnel section, and he is able to get spun around the right way, but 13th place is all he'll be able to reach. 49.5 seconds behind Yakan. Yakan flirting around that 1 lap down mark. No, Yakan actually is 1 lap down. What am I saying? If they pass the 10th place car of Steve Rogers already, they'll definitely pass the 12th place car of Yakan. I want to check out this battle here between Ahmed A for the Red Bull Racing Team and Colin Edwards, a newcomer to the championship in season 10. Might be for his first running here under the Slipstream banner. Separates up from Colin Edwards, the red and white McLaren machine out in front. There is a big slip up for the 44. LB Yakan tumbling down the order. Yakan qualified for teleporting down pit road himself. A couple of cars squabbling to get out of the way, letting the lead cars battle for now. This is a heated battle for 3rd and 4th place, and one that might invert itself here within the next couple. We did see Colin Edwards make the wrong pit stop strategy choice at Hockenheim, taking the hard compound and trying to run that stint long. And he just ended up losing positions lap after lap after lap, unable to keep those tires up to grip with the rest of the field who had changed tires on. And here's the side-by-side battle going in towards turn 1. Out through turn 2, the Oracle Red Bull racing car goes a little deep, but manages to hold on. Colin Edwards still battling it out with a back marker now, and that's really what slipped him up just a little bit, and he is now outside of the DRS range of the car in front. And whom is that in the Haas car? That should be, if I'm not mistaken, the 10th place car. Is that Hokie? That is Hokie in the Haas car, battling it out with the Colin Edwards vehicle, number 2. And yeah, it's 1.5 seconds already the gap separating Ahmed and Colin Edwards in 4th place. And that gap's only going to get a little bit closer. Maybe Colin Edwards is trying to maintain those tires, and lessons learned from what happened last week at Hockenheim. Just as I say that, Colin Edwards comes down pit road, but so does Ahmed A. and Jaden Neal as well. 16 of 42. You almost tell that these drivers are splitting this one into thirds right now. Just trying to do something different than what the car in front of him is doing. Onto the softest compound tire, the C4 tire. Very peculiar to see Neil pull off something like this. He's really trying to get an undercut done on Cody Lawrence. How many laps will Cody Lawrence decide to stay out before he comes in? And we'll keep an eye on the live timing as well. Couple messages in chat here. Professional X-Maz says Alex F here got flipped over at T1 and teleported to the pits. Auto disqualification for him. Cody runs fast, says hardware issues for me. My wheel kept disconnecting during practice, quality, and the race. Worked fine all last week. Oh my goodness. Trent H says kept getting tiny little headset glitches in the race. Must have touched the bridge and it simply sent me to the garden. Gosh darn it, Trent H, you were working your way up the ladder, up into P5. That was looking like a really good battle for you. Cody, heartfelt, just grueling heartfeltness to you. That was absolutely brutal to see you get collected there at turn 1. Unfortunate there. And Alex F is also getting flipped over at T1, teleported to the shadow realm. Unfortunate, man. A whole bunch of red flags getting thrown out for a few of these drivers, and just unfortunate to put into practice all week long, and then to get down to turn 1 and for the race to end so abruptly. Or for Trent H's sake, getting all the way up to P5 from P last and then having a technical infringement there. Really, really unfortunate. Ketchen gets past Matt Chevry there. The C2 compound working a little bit better for Ketchen than it was for Chevry. And he slips back half a second in the gap to himself and Chevry. Taking a look at the timing tower, Cody Lawrence and Jaden Neal's lap time. Last lap was a 22.9 for Cody Lawrence, 20.2 for Jaden Neal. So Neal actually will get this undercut pulled off here on Cody Lawrence the way things are panning out right now. So it's looking pretty good in his favor through the pit stop cycle to inherit the lead of the race on the C4 compound. But let's see what Cody Lawrence decides to go for. If he decides to go on a harder compound than the C4 tire, then he'll be able to go longer in this second stint of the race, and Jaden will have to make another pit stop. If Cody Lawrence pits now, there it is, we'll find out what his decision making will end up looking like. Cody Lawrence coming down pit lane for the Cadillac Racing team. And you can see a few of the other drivers who have DNF but are still sitting in pit lane. That was a very quick pit stop for Cody Lawrence. Where does Jaden Neal come out? Down the start-finish line now, and that will be it. He is rolling past, and the Raging Bulls Visa Cash App team inherits the lead of the race by 4.2 seconds. Cody Lawrence is onto that C4 compound as well. 4.2 seconds the advantage for Neal over Lawrence. It'll be Colin Edwards' fastest lap, that last lap around, a 121.092. Foley has a little bit of a crash with the environment. Foley again with another crash into the environment. We'll find out where they are on the racing circuit. They're just in front of Cameron catching it. Ketchen really doing a lot of overtakes here, coming down the start-finish line. Really has his braking dialed in going into the first corner. No mistakes out of this McLaren on this lap 19 of 42. That will be the 14th of Manisel that Cameron Ketchen has to get by next. Ooh, and Manisel out into the barriers there. And that unleashes Cameron Ketchen and the number 4 into 6th place to have 24 seconds of clean air, and 1 second in front of him is 1 second behind him Froley, so no threat of that DRS opening up, coming down the start-finish straightaway now. The gap has come down for the battle for P1 and P2. Jaden Neal's 4-second gap now down to 3.2. .4 to a 120.1. Cody Lawrence with the faster of the two laps between these drivers on the C4 compound. Continues to tumble down. It's under 3 seconds now. During that pit stop cycle, Colin Edwards was able to get past Ahmed A. Now this is just back to where we were beginning of this stint, or the end of the first stint, I should say. And we're separated by around half a second, 8/10 the gap right now. DRS should be opening up for Ahmed. There it is, open wide, and allowing him to get that slipstream from the car in front should be helpful to gain at least 2/10, and there it is, gaining around 2/10 of a second just on the straightaway alone. Check out the battle between Raider, Chevry, and Froley now. Raider caught up to the rear end of the Ferrari number 16, was in third place of this race at lap 1 for turn 1. And something happened to Chevry that we can't quite describe. And Chevry down pit road he goes, and probably onto that C2 compound, the harder of compound sets that we have available, and he might try to push towards the end. And there goes Raider up the inside on Froley, and he's not fooling around. He gets the move done and dusted going in towards turn 2. Froley looked like a sitting duck there, unable to defend from that late break lunge. Looks like this one's going to be done and dusted. Froley won't have an opportunity to stand back because the gap has already increased to 7-11. Battle for the lead of the race is back on. Jaden Neal and Cody Lawrence separated by around 7/10 of a second. It was a 120.7 for Neal, 120.1 for Cody Lawrence. Fastest lap of the race goes to Cody Lawrence with a 119.6 on that C4 compound that he's running right now. And if the tires have begun to fade for Neal, he needs to pit on this lap or one lap ago. Decides to stay out and battle it for the racing circuit. Hovering off the inside line, Jaden Neal really tried hard there, but the overspeed from Cody Lawrence was just too much going in through turn one. Athena Mansell disqualified for teleporting to pit lane, and what a wonderful overtake that was for Cody Lawrence, nearly running to the inside pit exit as much as possible to get that overspeed and dusted over Jaden Neal. Like I said, Jaden Neal needed to pit in just about a lap ago if he wanted to get another undercut done on Cody Lawrence, but who knows what Cody Lawrence knows about these tires and the strategy that he could possibly pull off. But whatever it is, he's pulled his tried and true, I'm going to go for the fastest lap of the race and the extra bonus point because he's got both under his belt now. Half the grid with DNFs here. Absolutely gutting. Started off this session with 20 drivers and will end the race with just 10 that are still driving. Trent H in 14th, sitting in pit lane right now. 6 laps down, and that gap will continue to grow because he has been disqualified for teleporting to pits. Ahmed A now into third place in front of Colin Edwards, 3.1 seconds is the gap. You can see how big it is because Colin Edwards was just barely showing up in that camera shot of Ahmed A, the Red Bull Racing Team, number 1. Coming down pit lane now is Elegance out of 5th for Team Ferrari, the blacked out version. Elegance now into 6th place, only 10.8 off the rear end of Pete Rader in 5th place. 27 out of 42. We have gone more than half the race distance now. Matt Chevry in 8th place. He's going to try to make it to the very end on the C2 compound, but not like that. He's 1.8 back from Cameron Ketchin, and he's looking to get more positions up and up the ladder. Cameron Ketchin driving for Team McLaren, the number 4, Lando Norris's number, if I'm not mistaken, coming around turn 2. On the front wing of Cody Lawrence, let's see these flexi bits go around the racetrack. Now looking at the front nose of Cody, and a beautiful view of the grass as well, thanks to Assetto Corsa's camera system. Coming through the tunnel. Wow, what a gap has formed from Cody Lawrence to Neil behind. 7.3 seconds and growing. Take a look at the lap times. 119 being the best lap, 119.6 being the best lap to Cody Lawrence. Jaden Neal's 120.2. Last lap around 120.8 to a 121.9 out of Jaden Neal. Maybe Neil has a secret concoction up his sleeve to make it to the end of the race on a certain compound of tires, but I think it's a little too late. The undercut is not going to be strong enough at this point. With just a 2-lap disparity between soft compound tires, maybe Neil just doesn't have the pace to keep up with Cody Lawrence. Cameron Ketchin is even lapping faster than Jaden Neal right now, so that should be awfully telling that he needs to get sooner rather than later. Nothing but clean air in front of and behind of Steve Rogers, Mercedes number 12 driver. Coming through the backside of the racetrack, sector 3, and he's coming around the penultimate corner. Matt Chevry lapping faster than Cameron Ketchin by around, I believe that said 1 second. A little bit faster than 1 second lap, 1.3. Colin Edwards coming down pit road out of 4th place with just 9 laps remaining, or 10 laps remaining, I should say, once this one is completed. Colin Edwards is actually headed on to the C4 compound, the softest of the three available this weekend. Let's see if he can make that last one. Here's Chevry trying to get past a back marker, I believe. Pete Rader for the Jumpman Tar Heels F1 team. Coming down pit road. We'll promote Elegance, driving 120s right now on the C3 compound into 5th place. And that's Jaden Neal coming down pit road with just 10 to go. Ahmed coming down pit road to cover off the undercut from Colin Edwards on that C4 compound. Jaden Neal with a very long pit stop. Again onto the C4, 10 laps to go for him. Now right behind Jaden Neal, actually. Here comes Cody Lawrence with a little bit of lockup coming down pit road. On the rear wing of Jaden Neal, looking back at Ahmed A. 4/10 is the gap separating the two drivers. I think that Cody Lawrence would definitely take P1 away. Something happened to Jaden Neal for him to slow down that much and lose basically 20 seconds in the pit lane to Ahmed and Cody Lawrence. Now he's really under threat right now. Ahmed trying to get his way past 4/10, separates himself from the second step of the podium. Can Jaden Neal keep this up? They're all on the C4 compound. Colin Edwards, 119.5 that previous lap around. 2.7 seconds back. You see him lurking in the rear wind right there. Coming through turn 2. And there is a big lunge from Ahmed over the curbs. He goes, and that will conclude this battle. Colin Edwards will re-inherit P3. And that's exactly what I mentioned at the top of the stream, was the consistency really getting the best of these drivers. And I bet Ahmed had never seen that curb before in his life. Didn't know what to do once he started mounting it. Just unsettled the car, and that was all she wrote, folks. Here is Pete Rader from Jumpman Tar Heels, 119.5. He is also on that C4 compound, trying to make it to the very end of this event. He's 1.29 seconds behind Cameron Ketchum, who's on the C2 compound. And Cameron Ketchum's tires are 7 laps old right now. Matt Chevry has got 11 laps old tires, and he's got another 8 to go. That's going to hurt a lot, but he can't lose too many positions because he's still in front of Froley and Steve Rogers by a handful of seconds or more. Rader is lapping quite quicker than Cameron Ketchum out in front. This lap will be the deciding one to see if Rader can get past Cameron Ketchum before the end of the race. Because the gap has closed down by at least a second over the last 2 or 3. And if he doesn't wait until the DRS detection point, Cameron Ketchum's favorite spot to get overtaken, hopefully he can get past sooner than later and not give Ketchum the opportunity to snap back. Coming through the tunnel section now. That's quite a ways back right now. I don't think he'll be close enough by the time we get to turn 2. But the drag reduction system opens up for Pete Rader. Let's see if this means anything for him going in towards turn 2. Not on this lap. Can't make it happen. He's going to have to close down the gap yet again and do all this work over again. A little bit of a mistake there coming out of second 3, costing him the opportunity he needed to come into second 2. A little bit of bobbing and weaving there from Pete Rader just to slow down the vehicle as much as possible. Through the tunnel, it's 4/10 now, separating Ketchum and Rader. There it is, the cover off to the inside by Cameron Ketchum. He knows exactly what he needs to do to defend from this position, being handed over completely, but Rader walks right on by. Actually, Ketchum still maintains a 4/10 gap to Pete Rader in front, which is quite surprising because I would have expected Rader to just walk right on by and leave Ketchum in the dust, but Ketchum, like I said, knew exactly what he needed to do to defend a position like the one he had. And he's going to keep on challenging to stay within that drag reduction system detection zone. Then that 1 second margin that he desperately needs to cling onto to try to snap right back at the driver out in front. Elegance is 10 seconds up the road from Pete Rader right now, 10.3 to be exact. And that is slowly coming down to the C4 compound that Pete Rader has got on his shoes right now, dragging himself along, and as well as Cameron Ketchum. Let's see if Ketchum tries to snap back here. DRS is open, but he might just be too far back. Yes, he is way too far back to try to make an opportunity into reality. Four more laps in this event. Cody Lawrence leads over Jaden Neal, Colin Edwards, Ahmed A. Elegance, Pete Rader, Cameron Ketchum, Matt Chevry, Froley, and then Steve Rogers ran out of 10 out of 20 drivers who started this race. in 10th place. Steve Rogers getting out of the way to allow these two to keep battling for the remaining 3 of this event. Gap has expanded from 4/10 to around 8/10 nearly on this lap. Ketchum is trying to push these C2s as much as possible. Just 3 laps remaining when the drivers cross the line. Let's see if he still has enough steam in the tank to close down the gap. 119.8 to a 120.1 doesn't look like he has the energy necessary deployed to catch up to the car in front, driven by Pete Rader in the number 23 Air Jordan vehicle. On board with Steve Rogers for a lap or so. Coming around the hairpin corner, we have Jaden Neal in 2nd place behind Cody Lawrence. Steve Rogers driving his number 12 Mercedes, just not doing as well as I thought he would, but he's doing better than where he could be. He could end up as a DNFer in this event. A whole heaping hand of DNFs. Manisil, Hokie, McCann, Trent H, Shorter, Jack, Fowers, Deschamps, and more. In the pit lane, presumably getting a free pit stop out of this. Maybe he's going to try to go for the fastest lap of the race with just 1 remaining. Cameron Ketchum still chasing down Pete Rader. This battle might not be over just yet. 119.9 to 119.9, both drivers pulling out identical lap times that previous attempt around. Closer than he's been in a long time. Right before we take the white flag, Rader just got slingshot out of that final corner and just jettisoned his way forward. 120.2, 120.2. Both drivers again pulling out identical lap times. These two are on the lead lap, so we'll get this lap plus 1 more. Raiders tires are 10 laps old. Cameron Ketchum's 15 laps old. Both drivers have served 2 pit stop. Elgins taking just the 1 pit stop. Hit 15 laps ago. where Cameron Ketchen really needs to put his pedal to the metal right now, coming out of this final corner. And if he wants to get this position, he's going to have to push right here, right now. This is going to wrap things up for Mr. Cody Lawrence in P1 for Cadillac Racing, and he takes the checkered flag in first place right now. Jaden Neal is going to finish the race in the second place spot 24 seconds later, and he gets to the line. Take a quick look at the Cameron Ketchen and Pete Rader battle after we see Jaden Neal cross the line in second place. Colin Edwards in third, 8.7 seconds back, will cross the line in third place. Go back over here to see Cameron Ketchen and Pete Rader battle, because I feel like something's bound to happen here. And we have Ahmad A in fourth place, Elegance in the Rader Ketchen battle that we're watching right now. Whoa! And there is a huge touch between the two drivers, and someone has gone off into the Shadow Realm. I think Pete Rader is out of the race. Cameron Ketchen teleports back to pit lane, gets disqualified here. So I think Matt Chevry will not necessarily inherit those positions because he is a lap down technically, but that will conclude this race. Just a huge last lap shunt from Cameron Ketchen into the back of Rader, and that will solidify 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that will do it for us here tonight, folks. What an epic last lap showdown. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't think that was going to happen, though. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much for your love and support. As always, you guys are an amazing group of individuals to broadcast for here at the Slipstream Racing. Hope to see more drivers out on the racetrack, and hope to see more of them take the checkered flag next week when we go to Istanbul Park on April 14th. Not next week, on April 4th. John Malott, he gone. Oh, indeed, he gone, John Malott. John Malott, I didn't know you were a follower of Slipstream Racing. This is Sagar from DRL, obviously. But anyways, good to see you, buddy. Turkey Istanbul Park on April 14th after we take a couple weeks off, and I love to see you guys there. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Thank you very much for sticking around. Appreciate the love and support. I see drivers doing donuts on the runway here. And yeah, it's been phenomenal. What a great event. Hopefully we see more drivers take to the checkered flag next time. John Malott, the commentator stalker. Have a great night, everybody. And as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye.